And look at Randy Orton slithering.
Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! KO! Here's the cover.
Hey, what's up everyone? We're back here with another vid. This time looking at one of the new tanks that was added, specifically one of 4 tanks. It's all the same, but we turned to the SP1C with the 3-shot autoloader. Specifically looking at the Trailblazer variant, but all 4 of them with the Hot Wheels update, whatever. They're the same tank, they just have different skins. This is the best looking one. It's also the one I believe you can actually earn for free by completing it. But this one has the best camo, so likely this will be the one I'll be playing, and you'll see on the channel because it actually looks like an actual tank from a distance with the woodland camo it has on it, which I quite like. So, is this thing worth it? I'd say so. I definitely like that they're bringing back the 3-shot autoloader on this thing, and with some improvements, it's now at tier 8, which kind of makes sense, obviously, because it would really be kind of unfair to make the same tier tank as the tech tree variant and make it better at the same tier. So at least it's a tier 8 now, so it gets increased hit points and stuff like that. And some other improvements on this thing include over the old SP1C, if you remember it, is the shell velocity right away is the huge difference compared to that tank. As the APCR on this has 1,000 meters per second, and then for some reason the heat has 1,200 meters per second. It's actually faster than the APCR. Don't really ask me why, but it does. And then I don't remember if the old SP1C had HEP rounds. Somebody can tell me if it did. It may have. I don't really remember. I don't recall. But this one has HEP rounds that you see on the Hawk 30. And M41 90mm, so it has 102 pen for 320 alpha, which can be quite devastating. If you pen all 3 of those in one clip on somebody, I've actually reduced the number of HEP shells I've carried on this thing because I haven't been using them. I don't use them much on my other tanks either, just something I just need to work on, I guess. But right now you see in this video I have 6, but in the second video you'll see I have 3. Do with that what you will. It's all personal preference, really, what you want to do. So, before we go into all the stats, obviously running the usual setup for this thing that I run on all my lights. So, the vert stabs, vents, because it only has, it's an autoloader. It also has a single shot package, but I don't think you can equip a rammer on it because it has an autoloader package, obviously. So yeah, and then optics, of course, just because I'm a fairly active person when it comes to light tanks, unsurprisingly. So, before this game gets ahead of us, and hopefully I can actually do some actual commentating over the other game, let's just jump into the stats of this thing and kind of where it compares to other tanks, specifically comparing it to the other light tanks that are German at tier 8, specifically. So, just jump into that real quick. This thing is not very fast. It only has 230 horsepower engine on it, so it's quite sluggish for a light tank. In terms of its top speed, it's something you can come right off the bat. It only goes like 58, something like that, very high, not high 50s, which is still obviously kind of quick for a tank, but for a scout at tier 8, it's very low. So you can kind of get the idea that you don't want to be circling people too much in this thing, or at least active scouting up and down the ridge lines too much. It's also does have almost too good a maneuverability. The Tractorverse is disgustingly way too good, and it can actually get you into trouble quite easily, as I've gotten several times so far. And I believe a few other people have said the same thing. It's too squirrely, is the way I would put it. It's very much like the T71s at tier 7 on the tech tree. It turns too quickly. You can oversteer things. So that's kind of the best way of putting it. And looking at the gun, which is obviously probably the most important factor of the tank, I would say, possibly. With the autoloader. It also has a single shotgun. The single shotgun has decent rate of fire. It's slower than the M41 90mm rate of fire, which is like 9 rounds a minute or so. This one's at like 8.57, I believe, in the rate of fire per minute with the single shotgun, which is faster than the Hawk 30s, like 8.1. So it's kind of like middle of the tree there with the single shot. Single shot's viable. I haven't used it. I just prefer the burst damage on the 3-round autoloader. It's kind of why I brought this tank back, I guess. I kind of enjoy having that old school kind of feel to it. Maybe we'll see a Bulldog variant with a 10 shot. I don't know. That would have to be kind of rebalanced because this thing was never really broken, in my opinion, at all. The Bulldog at tier 7 with the 10 shot was... That's kind of... Yeah. It was kind of broken. Could be adjusted and brought back at some point. I wouldn't mind that, but just probably needs to be adjusted a little bit. Yeah, but that's a different video or different topic. So sticking with the SP1C Trailblazer variant, I guess it's all the same thing. Looking at the autoloader, it is about 7.83 rounds a minute. So you're losing a little bit of DPM possibly, but I really like that burst damage to come in with the 3-shot. 240 alpha obviously is what I'm kind of going for. And you can do stuff like this, which is so nice. You take out the IS and then put 2 into the AMX 65T to finish him off. And yeah, I love that burst potential right there. It's so nice, personally. Maybe I should try the single shot at some point, just give it a shot. But I just love this that clip potential. It's so nice. So net clip potential is 720, by the way. I did the quick math for anybody that's wondering. And right there, you saw a slight issue with this tank. It says 8 degrees of gun depression. That's actually only over the sides, I believe, because of how low profile the turret is. You look at the profile of this tank, the gun depression over the front, it's not there because the front of the tank is longer than the actual, in comparison to how tall the tank is. So you can really find some awkward situations as we finish this game off with our 5th kill of the game and bring our damage total up to like 4,700 damage there. Pretty nice on Mountain Pass. But you can really find yourself in some issues. This tank's very funky to play, at least I think. It's definitely good. It just requires some getting used to because, again, it's not very fast. It can be kind of squirrely with the tracks and also the kind of weird gun depression issues. But at least now it doesn't also have the added benefit, or non-benefit, I guess, of the low shell velocity. It actually does have good shell velocity on its rounds, so you don't have to worry about that, such as stuff like the Hawk 12, the Tech 3 Tier 8, which has this sluggish AP rounds and such. So don't have to worry about that. What's the penetration on the gun? 182 millimeters on the APCR, and then 250 on the heat. Pretty standard, and again, 102 on the HEP rounds. Aim time on the autoloader is 2.2, accuracy 0.38. Gets slightly increased aim time also on the single shot if that's worth anything. Personally, I don't really care that much. It's only 0.2 seconds. It's not really a huge deal for me. Again, traverse speed is about 52 degrees per second, which is it's too much, honestly. You can't have too much of a good thing, and this is probably one of the cases where you probably do have too much of a good thing, especially given how lightweight this vehicle is also. You got to be kind of careful not to flip it, and also it's very, very, very prone to getting rammed. So if you're driving one of these things, definitely don't try to ram anything, and if you're going against one of these things, ram the hell out of it. Especially in like another light tank. Not every light tank, but if you're in something like that, definitely anything with some mass. If you give these a good push, you're going to do damage to it because it's only got 20 millimeters armor at the most on this thing. So basically, it's got nothing. It's like a wet piece of paper that you can just punch right through. So again, that also means load the HE rounds, especially if you're in something like the Becky Lynch. Have at it with that 1 second reload, and you'll just have a field day with one of these. Yeah, just absolutely will demolish this thing. So there's definitely some definite disadvantage of this thing. It's definitely not up there as like this is the top dog of tier 8, but with this 3-shot autoloader, and yeah, it's still a solid tank at tier 8. It's not going to be top dog any time of the week, I don't think, any day of the week, I should say. But it's definitely a solid tank, solid light tank at tier 8. And I believe the camos should be fairly decent. View range is 410, which is very nice actually on a tier 8 light tank. With this crew and everything, you can probably max it out up to above 500 meters quite easily. So you can really kind of devalue people's camouflage rating, getting way past that max view range of whatever 445 or I think it is. But past that, you're just going to be devaluing people's camo significantly. So good spotter from that regard. It's also tiny, so you can use positions like this. Again, already making an appearance in the video once again, as we put one into the Yak Panther, and then the second one somehow we get spotted. I don't know. First one doesn't, and then Petty finishes him off in the Equalizer because he was taking his survey that Wargaming gave him. So he's playing Artie while he takes a survey. Yeah. Playing, I should say. But overall, quite enjoying this thing. So far, I think this is actually the first mark I got on it. I haven't played any of the other Hot Wheels tanks or tanks that were added on Tuesday. Just simply, nothing really interests me. The E75 TS is very mediocre, personally, I think. And then the TS5, it's probably good. It is. But it's it's not very much up my alley, as you could guess. It's just not my cup of tea at all. So, unsurprising. We try to track KPZ there. It does feel good when you pen all 3 shots, but it doesn't always feel like it happens. One benefit of this tank, try not to get off track too much, is with the 240 Alpha and the 90mm on this bad boy. I think it's 90mm or 88, whatever. Yeah, 90 mil. Is you can actually track a lot of tanks that are like that, like the Wheezy and stuff, in one shot, which is very nice. If you've played anything else at tier 8, light tank wise, as we nearly crap our pants as we pull around a corner and there's a dreadnought looking at us. Then we get slapped by an SU sitting in the base that we pretty much knew was there, but ignored that anyways. Even though I was literally saying in the party, hey, he's probably sitting in the back. So that's okay. But you can basically track a lot of tanks like that in that one shot versus something like the Walker Bulldog or even LTTB. It's going to take you probably at least 2 shots to track something at the same tier. Versus this 90mm, you can actually, if you shoot somebody in the drive wheel, you can fairly consistently track people. Even stuff like the IS-2 and stuff like that. Stuff at tier 10, even tier 9, you may struggle doing that with. But it is something nice to have to where you can keep stuff pinned in place. Especially when you have the 3-shot autoloader, you can put the first one in, track him, and then get 2 more, hopefully for damage, into the tank. So it's very, very nice in that regard, I guess. So flexible and effective, I guess. So overall, I'd probably rate this tank good. Not great, but good. And definitely worth the time to grind it out for the missions, I guess, that are coming out with this. As we somehow miraculously bounce off the KV2 Dreadnought hull. I think we hit the upper kind of flat plate there. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about this tank. Again, solid, kind of fragile, devastating autoloader in the right situations. And yeah, it's just a solid little tank to have back. Good to have it back in the game. Again, I'm probably only going to play this variant because it actually looks like a tank. And not a matchbox car. It's whatever. That's your thing. Cool. If not, oh well. It's fine. You don't have to hate on people for liking it, I guess. But, yeah. And I guess you should say the camo is 0.32, which is good. It's better than stuff like the LTDB and other stuff tier 8. That's around 0.26, 0.27. So the concealment factor is fairly good as we fire into the ground in pure, I don't know, desperation. And then we just shut down this T-49 with a very, very satisfying shot. And then it already takes a swing at us, because why shoot at a tortoise that goes 15 when you can shoot at a light tank, you know? Why not? So, hopefully we're going to reload. Again, the reload I should mention on this is, you've probably seen, it's about 17 seconds, which is not bad. Not bad at all. And we finish off our lovely arty friend in the back of the map. And wait for our other arty friend who we're actually platooned with to go shotgun a Patriot to finish this game out on Arctic region. Yeah, there you go. Petty's a scumbag. So, that's all I have to say about this tank. Quite enjoy it. Nice to have another scout in the game. Obviously, I'm going to like it. Duh. But if you want to see more on like the TS5 or the E75 variant that just got added at Tier 8, I would go check out Petty's videos, and he just did ones on those, and I don't have the willpower to actually play either of those tanks, more than likely, so go check those out if you want information on those tanks. I'll probably link them below. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you next time, next week probably. See you, and peace.